Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, corn dog lovers of all ages, welcome to In the Box with your hosts, Matt and Adam.
Everybody get...
I feel like we need a way to have the music keep going while we do our intro. And do like a really high, the big hype. Welcome, In the Box fans. This is your host, Matt and Adam, In the Box live for Monday, or it's not Monday anymore. Thursday. Is it Thursday? For the in-between Christmas and New Year's week where nobody knows what day it is and everyone just wanders around in their pajamas and stuff. Or their snazzy new IB26 Live for Today Allison Phillips sweatshirt.
Or their snazzy, just got the other day, Vinny Dantas game-worn Tacoma Stars jersey.
It is very snazzy, and now you can actually, now that he's not on that one team, you can actually get a Vinny Dantas jersey and not have a problem wearing it.
Right, exactly.
So there's that.
I feel the same way with like Elton De Oliveira. Not on the Blast anymore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So if you're not on the Blast, we approve. If you're on the Blast, well, Max is on the Blast. Williams on
that one other guy, the Phantom Knocker. We really don't talk about him that much anymore, but that's right.
I got some new sound clips for the board. The first one is by the one who made this famous.
Slippery balls.
And I don't know if you even caught this when he said it, but
Giggity, 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 giggity.
When he said In the Box last week, he said diggity right after, so I grabbed that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I forgot to mention this on the last show on the San Diego broadcast, who is normally have had no problems at all. For like 30 seconds, we heard this. For 30 seconds straight.
Wow.
So that was interesting. And then Nate tried to play it off like, okay, I guess we're back here. That's what I got. That's my new stuff on the soundboard. Nothing else really good. Might have to get some new Capelli commercials.
Well, you have one of the funniest moments from the show. How come you haven't made that into a sound clip yet?
Oh, that deserves its own video because you can't just do the one clip. You need the. You're right.
Oh, which, by the way, Hannah and Henry, I think, are watching right now. So, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I want a corn dog, Mr. Corn Dog.
There we go. Everyone say hi to Hannah in the chat.
Even though she's not really in the chat, but she's watching. Yeah.
Jack says, I'm shocked neither of you have the St. Louis kits yet. They are really, really good looking.
They are nice.
Kevin we'll get there. I'm not ready for that yet. Oh,
is he wanting to talk about things?
He said Wave not getting it done. Ouch. And
oh yeah. We'll get into that. Yeah. Oh, are we taking a timeout early?
No.
So yesterday, during the KC Milwaukee game, I was doing the Keeper's Corner podcast, but before they started that, I turned it on, and I did hear Eric mention, like, it was right out of the gate, he was talking about timeouts.
It's like he's obsessed or something.
Said it, but I did hear one.
Like he's obsessed with the whole timeout thing.
I did hear it right before halftime. Milwaukee. So I guess twice. I did hear it twice. He's like, this would be a good time for Milwaukee to have a timeout.
Milwaukee needed more timeouts than were allowed.
Do you want to go there now, or do you want to hold off?
I don't know what I want to do. We just talk uniforms. Jack says they're wearing them right now in Dallas. They look almost better on the field. I noticed that. But did you also notice Dallas's new uniform? It's almost like a camo snake weird pattern with green and black on the front. They look really good.
Give me a St. Louis one, and
I want the St. Louis one. I wasn't so I mean the pink looks good and I think it's great for their colors and the team and everything. I'm just not a fan of that style. I won't really wear something like that.
they've worn it. I mean, they've worn it every single game. You have not seen St. Louis wear a different uniform.
That's because these were late in getting in and there were issues getting these printed in time. Like our in the box jerseys.
I like my pink one. I like this one.
See, and I like that one a lot. I just wouldn't wear that, and that's just me.
I would definitely wear it, but
I'll wear the neon yellow, like the wave yellow, but I won't wear that.
I definitely do like. And Shelly and I had a talk today. We've had talks over the last couple of years about their uniforms, and her favorite color's teal and my favorite color's teal. So I mean.
So Shelly, if you watch this, and I know you might, I know there's a high chance that you might possibly maybe watch this. We need teal turf in St. Louis. I mean, it just has to happen. Teal with pink highlights or pink lines or something. It needs to happen.
Yep.
Make it so.
Agreed.
MJSL is here. He was told there'd be punch and pie. I like pie. But it's not.
No. Here's the thing. We don't talk about pie here on MASL in the Box.
We talk about cake.
Yeah, we are a cake podcast, which reminds me, I completely forgot I was going to go to the store today and pick up some more of those Hershey's little chocolate cakes, which I've converted someone. Matt Sterling from Keeper's Corner Podcast sent me a message saying Hershey's should be paying me.
Nice. I just looked under my desk and there's no cake under there, so I'm disappointed.
Yeah. We're off to a rousing start. We have no cake.
I did see, since cake is part of our show now, I did see one of these things where they take a pie and bake it inside of a cake.
So that's like a dessert version of a turducken.
Right. Speaking of turducken, R.I.P. John Madden passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
He made the turducken famous.
And kept a lot of kids busy over the years with his Madden video games.
Yes. So there's someone in the chat named Susanna Platt, and I don't know who that is. Now I work with a Susie Platt who has gone out of her way to say that her name is Susie and not Susan or any of these other names, but I'm not sure who Susanna is. If it is Susie and like her account got hacked and they changed her name, she's also a Wave season ticket holder and has a cool dog and probably be meeting up at halftime tomorrow at the Wave game. So there's that. So where do we want to start?
Which reminds me. So I think after the show is over, I will be finalizing my flight plans for the 21st.
Nice. We'll have to get you a ticket then, huh?
I mean, I can cheer outside of the arena watching the game on YouTube, I guess.
So go to Milwaukee and watch the game from the outside on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to. So Tara broke her foot, as you know. She's on an e-scooter, and tomorrow's going to be her first attempt at going really anywhere other than the doctor. We're going to see how that goes, because the New Year's Eve game typically is the highest attended game of the season. Plus, it's the season opener. We'll get to that in a bit. And it's the first game in 660 some days.
Yep.
663, I think. I don't know, math is hard.
Know. It is. It really is. Especially when you don't have cake.
13, yeah, 663 days since the last home game in Milwaukee, which was March 8th, 2020 against the Orlando Seawolves, who now most of the team is on the Milwaukee Wave now.
Well, hopefully it's more exciting than Utica's home opener, which took forever to happen.
I blame Keeper, the dinosaur alien thing.
Yeah, which hasn't really shown up at all But we only have one. We only have one home game this month, so hopefully he's in hibernation or something.
Yeah, December's a weird time. I know why they start the games early, because they need to get the games done by a certain time in the spring, but I don't know. The standard excuses of leads me into a good topic here. Standard excuses of, well, games attended before the new year are usually poorly attended. It's like, well, then why are we doing them?
Oh wait, we have 2 home games. Never mind.
Okay.
Baltimore and Ontario.
What month is this month? December or January?
January.
Oh, we're not in this month yet.
Yeah, but we're close.
You're an hour ahead. You're not a day and a half ahead.
That's true.
There's that.
The only one that's a day and a half ahead is Ken.
Right. He already knows what happened.
Yeah.
I wonder if everything's okay in 2022 where Ken is.
Maybe. He did send me a message today, so.
Oh, that's cool.
There's that.
I wished him a happy birthday, but I don't know if I got the date correct, because it just, whenever I saw it, I popped it, sent him the message, so.
Right.
It was his birthday on my day for where I was, not maybe for his day.
Right.
So now that everyone's confused, let's talk about the NISL's first inaugural game. The Memphis Americans beat the tar out of the Columbus Rapids. Not in Memphis, but in Mississippi, but it's like, on a map it's something like that far away, depending on how big your map is. It could be up to this far away if you zoom out a lot.
So didn't they have so before the game? Didn't they have like a 7.5 minute, like I don't say like a pregame thing, but didn't they like try things out first, like the audio and video and stuff, or was it just the banner?
I don't know. I didn't see the whole beginning. Because they had like some stream that was 7.5 minutes or whatever. And then they kept replaying that, and then they finally went live, and they didn't have sound until 3/4 of the way through the first quarter.
And at that point, it was very loud.
I turned it off because why would bother? And then came back on later and turned it on, and it was, for me, it's like, okay, well, you have a brand new league, you have a brand new thing. There's nobody in the stands, regardless of what your attendance number is. We'll get to that in a second. There's no advertising on the boards, and I know Andrew Haynes said in the halftime that, these are all things that can be fixed, but you're trying to do a good first impression on your product, you failed. Product on the field.
I have to admit the commentary was pretty good.
Commentary
they knew what they were talking. They knew what they were talking about. So that's a definite plus.
Yeah, commentary is good. I thought Memphis. I can tell from a viewer, knowing what I know about this league, which is admittedly not very much, the most effort was put into the Memphis team. They're very well coached in Corey Adamson. They look much more prepared on the field, and they just dominated both the men's and women's games. Dominated their opponent. Women's game is closer, and I think Columbus has a good women's team going on there, but. Things were dominating by both Memphis sides.
The men's game. I mean, there were former MASL players, Joanne Laidley, who played for Florida, Mike Scharf, Corey Adamson, obviously, who played for St. Louis.
Yep.
So they're guys with some indoor experience at a high level. So they've got a good core group of veterans, and playing against a team like Columbus, who just starting out. I mean, you could tell.
Yep.
Growing pains, first game jitters, if you will.
I posted something. I feel like indoor has the league has dropped and like devolved like 10 years, because that seemed like a typical game that we would have seen back when like the MISL and the PASL merged. Which is
it's like comparing it to like the Missouri Comets versus the Pennsylvania Roar or something like that.
Yes. Yes, Susie. Corey Adamson is player coach for the Memphis Americans in this new 4-team league. My overall thoughts, I'm a big Andrew Haynes fan. He is the corn dog father, after all. He started the Florida Tropics based on the this
Corn dogs, Jackie. Corn dogs for all these people.
Dogs for everyone.
So there's always a special place in my heart for that, but there's no room in this league for another, or in this sport for another league. Now, I do like the idea of having women's teams and a more prominent women's league. My thoughts once I saw the women's game, and because I had to do some other stuff, and I only was able to watch like half of it, but I think having a women's only league would have been a really good thing. I think having another men's indoor league just, to me, doesn't make sense. Now, maybe I'll be shown wrong, but I just don't think there's enough fans and enough markets to go around. That's just my thoughts on it. But I'll see how many games I watched. There were 2 games tonight, or 4 games if the way you look at it. I did not get a chance to watch either of those, and I think there's some going on right now as we speak.
Yeah, there's a few games going on NISL, and I think there's something going on in the MASL. I don't know. I'm not really.
There's a game going on in Dallas. Score is the same as when we talked before. I won't spoil it in case anyone wants to watch it. But that started at 7 p.m. Central, so it's should be close to getting done to the first half here in a little bit. But let's get into the main topic that came out of the NISL. And yeah, Alex says I'd love to see the MASL W League or something similar. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, I agree.
I mean, look at what the women's national team has done compared to the men's national team over the last, I don't know, 10 years, 12 years, 16 years, whatever it's been.
Yep.
And
I completely agree. I did end up watching a little bit of that game, and yeah, I would definitely want to watch another one. I did end up watching the end. So I think Andrew Haynes posted it on his personal Facebook page. It was like the last 10 seconds or the last 20 seconds of the Memphis Americans women's game tonight.
oh, sure.
It was like a game-winning goal with like 15 seconds left or something like that.
Yeah, I'll have to go watch
it. Pretty good. It was pretty good. So
yeah, I don't remember what I was doing. What day? I don't even know what day it is now, much less what day it was then.
Well, we are taping now, so it's Thursday.
So we're live now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't slip up and say anything I didn't mean to. Speaking of saying things I didn't mean to, let's get into the main reason I wanted to bring up the NISL game. Based on the broadcast, there were 500 people there. Maybe 1,000 if you stretch it. And of course the broadcasted attendance, or the announced attendance, was 1,800. And this sparked a couple comments by some old indoor soccer names and old school, maybe not necessarily old age. Sometimes they're one and the same, sometimes they're not. About why we need to keep bringing it up because we know that teams fudge their attendance number. Well, that's why we keep bringing it up. Because if you have 500 people in the stadium and you're announcing 1,800, you're flat out lying. Now the answers of, well, they announced the tickets that are printed, not the tickets that are actually butts in the seats, or how many tickets are handed out. Well, that's great. Like when I went to school, if I was there, my attendance counted as being there. If I was not there, my attendance counted as me not being there. If I don't go to work, I cannot say, well, I intended to go to work, so my attendance should be that I'm at work. Just that's not what the word attendance means. Attendance is the number of people in the seats. And imagine you're a potential investor or a sponsor for one of these teams. Assuming you were not in the old days of like handshake jokes. I just read what Susie said. She said, "Hey, you guys are funny." I don't know what she saw that was funny, but I don't consider myself funny at all. 2 guys walking to a bar. No, I'm just kidding.
Please, no, I want to keep going. I don't want to end the show right now.
So, let's say I'm a sponsor and I'm a potential sponsor of a team and I get approached saying, hey, do you want to donate X amount of dollars, pay for uniforms, do whatever? I'm going to do research on the product that I want to sponsor. And I am going, and Susan will answer that in a second, I am going to maybe go if it's local, I'm going to go to one of their games. I'm going to see how many potential people that I'm going to be a sponsor of. I'm going to watch how they do advertising. I'm going to watch a broadcast to see where my commercial could show up, how often, how many people, and I'm going to see how many people watch the game. I'm going to see how many people go there. And then I'm going to see what they report attendance numbers as. And if they tell me, oh, look at our attendance numbers for last year, we averaged 2,500 people a game, and I go there and there's 300 there, I'm going to say, well, what's up with this? There's 300 people in the crowd. And if they say, well, no, there was 1,800. See, look at our attendance report. Well, no, you're lying. You're flat out lying. And I'm going to say, as a responsible business person, if that was ever such a thing I could be involved in, I would say, no, you're lying about your attendance. Why would I sponsor that? And then Sid says many teams don't count attendance as the actual butts and seats, which they should. So to answer Susie's question of how does MASL count attendance, it is made up magic, smoke and mirrors, and bullshit. With the exception of at least one team, the Milwaukee Wave reports tickets scanned at the door. So yes, you could come in as a group with 40 tickets and only have 30 people with you, and they would get an extra 10 tickets, but those are paid or accounted for tickets. And yeah, and Susie says they'd watch the previously played games and also see the numbers were untrue. And then we get in a lot of excuses of, well, no, on the broadcast, all the fans are sitting underneath the camera, so they're never shown on, all those excuses. So the answer is, why have we keep calling this out is because we need to keep calling this out. If we just understand that, oh, hey, you know what, that's just the way the sport works, and that's just the way things, people do things, it's never going to get any better. It's never going to get fixed.
Yeah. And by the way, Florida. Hey, Florida,
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Florida. Post some attendance numbers.
Trivia question: who's the only team this season who has not posted attendance numbers? Oh, wait, we just gave it away.
Well, technically, Milwaukee hasn't. So I guess you could say Milwaukee.
The teams that have had home games.
Oh, well, you didn't say that. You said what team?
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
What teams that have had home games have posted attendance numbers, and Milwaukee is not one of them until
when
tomorrow.
Do you think? Okay, so let's predict. When will Florida actually post some sort of attendance numbers this season?
I would say unless the league mandates that they have to, they're not going to. Because we've heard the rumors back in the 2019-20 season, they didn't report attendance numbers at all. They just made them up and they just posted whatever. So
well, this Sunday, I am going to sit and count how many people are at that game against Utica.
So after the first 30 seconds of you doing that, then what are you going to do the rest of the game?
No, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. But
I'll get Hannah or Henry to count them for me.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, the whole, this is the way it's been done doesn't work in life, in anything. Or this is the way it's always been done. That's why we do things this way. That's not an answer anymore. And we need to keep calling these teams out and calling the sport out and making it be, held responsible. And of course, we're going to get the answer. Well, the NFL doesn't do. You know what? When you can start filling 60,000 people, and it's the difference between 60,000 and 62,000, then you can argue. But if you have 400 people in your arena and it's clear to everyone there's 400 people and you're reporting 1,800 or 2,500 as Florida did last season or 2 seasons ago, we're going to call you out on it every time. And granted, I would agree that paid for tickets can be counted for as attendance. But it should be a different, I shouldn't say attendance. Paid tickets should be accounted for even if those butts are not in the seats, but you need to have that as a separate number. Because let's say you have like the Wave used to send a bus full of people down to Chicago, and let's say 100 people didn't make it, but they all paid for their tickets and they didn't get a refund. I would expect those 100 people to be counted as some kind of number.
I think the bigger leagues do that. I think they have a number and then they have a percent to full.
Eric says, I can't wait for Florida to choose UCFC and Milwaukee as their 2022 playoff opponents. There are no choices this year from what I understand. There are seeds, and it depends on records and where you are. So we'll see what happens there.
true story.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my attendance soapbox. We will continue to mention it. We will continue to bring it up. If you don't like it, don't read the posts. If you have a reasonable explanation of why it's done the way it is, I would love to hear it. But so far, I've heard just made up, well, this is the way everyone does it, or this is the way we also used to, or no team does that.
And if you do like Adam's explanation, what you can do is
actually it's
down here.
No, it's going to be more like.
Oh wait, is it up here now?
Here and
it's over here.
Make sure you
it's
subscribe.
Right in the
there you go. Click subscribe.
Do that. Do the things.
We're giving it away a corn dog at 200 subscribers.
We've been saying that for a while now, so if you want to shut us up about that,
yeah,
just do it.
So Alex says, not only are they being unfair to sponsors, teams are lying to themselves. If they don't admit they have a problem, how can they fix it? Absolutely 100% true. One of the first things that Mike Zimmerman did when he took over the Wave in 2014, 2015, one of those years, was eliminate all the free tickets and all the Groupons and things. And he pissed off some people who were like, we're never going to support the Wave again, because every time we go to a game, we buy a hot dog and a soda, and you'll never see that $3, which the Wave doesn't get any concession money anyway, so that's too bad. But what happened over the next 5 years? The Wave has now led the league in attendance, with the exception of the gimmick year for Landon Donovan in San Diego, where San Diego led by like 100 people at the end of the season. But Milwaukee leads the league in attendance. It's not anything to really brag about because we're still only filling the arena half full on average, but it's proof that announcing real numbers really works.
See, well, you can brag about numbers. I can brag about percent to full.
About what?
The percentage to full.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you got some people angry with that comment.
I did. Oh wow.
But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, if we want to make Turlock the winner every game, we'll do percentage of full. But yeah, so okay, that's our soapbox. We better get to some of these actual like real topics.
Yeah, we said it was going to be a short episode. We're not doing so hot.
We're not. It's never going to be a short episode.
So let's do a really quick update. We have breaking news from the MASL in regards to the investigation involving the Baltimore Blast and the Milwaukee Wave Kansas City Comets games. Adam, do you want to tell everyone what the update is?
The update is we've released a statement announcing this statement that there's an update of the statement, and the update has been no decisions have made regarding the statement or the update of the stated update.
Okay, so now we've got that covered. Let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to know our thoughts on that whole thing, and there it is.
I actually have a lot of thoughts on this. I want to really, really get into
As do I, but
let's get into some of it. So the my thoughts, and I have. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna grab another soda because I have thoughts too.
Okay, well, this is gonna be a 2 soda night for Matt. He's drinking it heavy. I am drinking straight. So Kevin, you have an interesting comment. Kevin says Blast will whine and cry and no forfeit will come. Our good friend Lewis Melcher says, okay, here comes the drama. The league is not investigating the Baltimore Blast. What they are investigating is the comments made by the Milwaukee Wave and the Kansas City Comets. Typical for everything that Lewis has ever posted in his life, that is 100% not true. I do know a little bit of inside knowledge. I've heard rumors. My guess is that the Wave and the KC are not happy with just forfeits. I know that it was posted that the Wave lost about $100,000 in not having the season opener. And I think Milwaukee doesn't really care if the game goes as a win, a loss, a forfeit, a tie, a draw, a shootout, an overtime goal, or anything. I think the Wave are more concerned that the Blast made no effort to field a real team or field a reserve team They blamed it on COVID. They're blaming it on everything else. They're not taking responsibility. And the Wave wants retribution. And yes, the MASL post referred to the game, not the aftermath. The Wave didn't like the fact that the league was not going to post anything. So the Wave's like, you know what? We have people with tickets who want to figure out what they're doing for the rest of the season, want to figure out what they're doing for the New Year's Eve game. They know the New Year's Eve game, which is tomorrow, is the highest attended game in the season. They want people to be able to, exchange those tickets for this game or figure out whatever. So the Wave is like, we're making our fans happy, and we're going to post something to our fans about this. So they posted on social media. They sent emails out. Tickets have been exchanged, refunded already from people. And that's just, we're moving on. But there's still this whole thing, Blast fans are thinking, how can they forfeit the blah, blah, blah. And I was going to read Stephen Conan, however you pronounce his name. Sorry, Steve, but said, like, why don't they have the, if it's the issue of arena availability, why Milwaukee can't reschedule, why not have it at a neutral site? And that's not the issue at all. The issue is not the fact that the Wave doesn't have an arena date. The issue is the fact that the Blast did not field a team, and I'm pretty sure there are rules that state you have to make every effort as a team to field a team for a game. So last season, Tacoma had like 11 players out on COVID protocol. They still fielded a team. They lost to Dallas. That was Dallas's only win. St. Louis had 6 or 7 players out with COVID. They still fielded a team every game. There were no forfeits. There were no postponements. And, the answer is, well, every other league is postponing games. Yeah, you know what? Every other league didn't try to just get out of this. Every other league is making attempts to make games happen. I know for a fact the Wave had extra players ready to go. So, Kevin says the Blast one time left the field for 20 minutes to disallow a goal in a crunch game. I was there and the Fools got the goal taken off. We still kicked their butts. And that's
it's funny. I do remember. I remember watching that game. Tommy Tanner was on that team.
On the crunch team, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's I think what Blast fans think are happening and what the real reality of what's happening are two different things. I think there's probably going to be, if not already, probably going to be legal people involved. Attorneys probably on teams and league sides. And I just want to say stay tuned to that, what happens there. Because it has nothing to do with a forfeit of a game or why can't Milwaukee find a suitable alternative date. That nothing to do with that. There's going to be hell to pay. And
yeah. And, so to kind of go off with what you said, I'm going to throw in my 2 cents about this. I've made it known that I think that the Baltimore Blast chickened out of both of those games, and Utica rescheduling, I think it's kind of like appeasing Baltimore in a way. I think Utica could have fielded a team.
Yeah. How many times do we have to appease Baltimore?
Yeah. I don't really think. I think Utica could have fielded a team. I think Baltimore could have fielded a team. And I listened to the Keeper's Corner podcast, and it was brought up that the quality would be not as good. I would still watch, and I know those fans would also watch. The fans in St. Louis watched that game. The fans in Dallas watched that same exact game against Tacoma.
Yeah.
So, but before I go any further with that, Rian Marquez just messaged me on Facebook Messenger. I don't know if he's watching the chat currently, but post whatever links you want. Yesterday's game between Milwaukee and Kansas City, after his first goal, he lifted up his shirt and had like a phrase or a saying or something on his jersey. It was a dedication to his hometown, who's they're being ravaged by floods and stuff. And they're looking for help.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to donate or anything, Rianne should probably post something in chat.
Post it in the
or
chat,
just
post
get
it
a
in the
hold of one
box.
of us.
Yeah. Or message one of us and we'll paste it later. But if you want people to see it now, definitely.
Yep. He just sent me a message. I can't respond to it because obviously I'm
Right.
on the show,
Yeah.
but,
you need a admin assistant to respond for messages for you.
yeah, I do. And another thing that I want to bring up, the certain people of certain fan bases are putting the blame on Utica for all of this.
Oh yeah.
And once again, I'm going to go back to the Keepers Corners podcast. If you guys have not listened to the interview with Ryan Hall, I highly recommend it. It was 2 weeks ago after I was on the show. Ryan came out and talked to the folks from Keepers Corner podcast. And Ryan explained exactly what happened or what's going on. The players of Utica are employed by the Adirondack Bank Center or something like that. And there are specific rules that state they have to be vaccinated. And tests are done, and there's documented proof and everything. So please stop deflecting this whole thing.
That's This is the team that complains about the refs while they're winning. Like they can be up 10 goals in a game with no end in sight for the other team and no possible way to come back and win, and they'll complain about a handball foul that didn't happen.
Right.
Susie has a really good point.
Go ahead. And I didn't really want to say a lot.
I did,
but it's gotten to the point where I've heard things from various people, and it's getting on my nerves, really.
And the issues, especially, I mean, for Utica, so it'd be interesting to see what the difference between revenue from the game that was rescheduled to the revenue from whatever the weekday is. It's like a Wednesday game now, isn't it, or Tuesday?
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
Right.
I can tell you that it's a school night.
Right.
For the record.
Yeah, and
unless it's like midwinter break or something like that, which I really don't know the whole thing. Maybe Jack could kind of shed some light on that. If that's going to be on like a school night or whatever, but it's not. You're going to be lucky to have like 1,000 people there, which is a lot of. I mean, that's a big difference.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you can sell out on a weekend, especially versus the Blast, because that's always a high ticket game. But then you change it to like a Tuesday night, it's gonna kill the attendance. They're gonna wonder why it was even done. And now the questions are, well, why does Utica reschedule and Milwaukee and KC aren't going to reschedule? And what people aren't getting is that it doesn't have anything to do with COVID. We aren't saying, oh, the Blast doesn't want to just play through COVID or anything ridiculous like that. We're saying the Blast didn't field a team. Blast only has like 18 players on their roster. Wave and KC have like 30, plus they have deals, and not deals, but relationships with other teams, whether it's M2, M3, PASL, whatever, that they will field a team in the event, like if the venue shuts down, that's when Milwaukee wouldn't be able to play.
And another thing, so this just happened in Syracuse, right down the street. The Syracuse women's basketball team fielded 7 players for their game tonight.
Yeah.
That's like 50% of their team. The rest of them were out due to health and safety issues, probably COVID protocols and whatnot. They fielded a team.
Someone posted where's I just saw. Oh yeah, Jack posted San Jose Sharks earlier. This team fielded half an AHL roster, but they still made it out there. And the quality of play. So somebody from the Wave organization made a comment. I don't know if I agree with it, but I agree with some of it, saying the casual fans, like the bulk of the fans that are there, don't care who's on the field. They just want to see the product. They want to see their team.
Like fair weather fans, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Alec, did the Wave recoup any of the money they paid to rent the arena? Probably not. But rent is actually a pretty small number as opposed to, it's probably less than 10% of what the revenue they would have gotten in that. And yeah, and Aaron says, or Aaron says, a little harder for Milwaukee to reschedule a game being third in line at the time. Plus, they're not going to reschedule during the week and lose money. And that's exactly it. If you look at the UW Panther Arena, there are no dates between now and the end of the season for a reschedule. So it would have to be during the week. And the Wave as a smart business is not going to do that. So everyone I've heard all year after year, Ed Hale is this brilliant businessman who makes all these brilliant business decisions. Would he reschedule a game at his home arena during the week? Doubt it. And yeah, and Alex says, I don't know if the partnership between the M3 Kings, you got the Kings, you got the
Wings, the Kings, the things,
the Wings, the Kings, the Sunflower State, and I know Casey has many, like the Wave has many players that will never see the field this season who practice with the team every day.
Or Baltimore has 3 M3 teams within a stone's throw of Baltimore.
Right. Right. And it's so there's that. So that's what that's it. We can skip that talk. That's
yes, can we please? I'm
we're going to leave it up to the powers that be because there is no fan that has a say in this one way or another. And it's certainly not Lewis Melcher. And certainly the league is not investigating some Facebook posts because that's one of the dumbest things you could ever say out loud.
Ooh, what if the MASL fined Lewis Melcher $10,000 for comments detrimental?
Yeah, right. Comments detrimental to everyone. I like Lewis as a soundboard though, because whatever he says, the exact opposite is true. Because he's never been right about anything. And actually that's the reason he blocked me, because I called him out one too many times.
Well, it's all right.
And lack of effort on Baltimore's side to field a team. I think that's exactly what's going on here.
Yep.
And I think there is no investigation into whether it should be a forfeit or not. There's an investigation on everything else past that. And we'll see what happens.
Yep.
So let's get to the thing I've been putting off. The Wave game last night.
Do you want me to analyze it before you go on your little soapbox?
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. So from what I watched most of the game, and I'll admit half of it was muted. Sorry, Eric and Nick. I was doing the podcast with Utica. Milwaukee came out great. What was his name? Alex Crane.
Kyle
Crane. Great. I mean, he seems like a great target forward. I mean, he started out gangbusters. But I think Milwaukee's Achilles heel is that back third. Rian Marquez exposed everybody after those 2 goals were scored. And then, I mean, Casey took over. I think with Derek Huffman not there, Josh Lemos not there, those are huge losses for Milwaukee. I think if those 2 guys were in the game, I think the score would have been a lot closer, if not a Milwaukee win.
Eric says, whatever, Matt, with periods in between all 3 words.
But and we'll get into predictions in a little bit, but I think Milwaukee still has a lot of positives. They just need to use those positives more. They're definitely a speedy team, and I think they need to use that to their advantage.
Yeah. My thoughts. And none of these are excuses. They may sound like excuses. They are more, let's call them explanations rather than excuses. Last night's game, there were 5 players in the championship season of only 3 seasons ago. There were only 2 that, in addition to those 5, that played in the 2019-2020 season. Then, of course, we were off for a year and a half. Came back probably 3rd week in November and only had a couple of weeks to prepare as a team with this brand new rule in place and none of the pieces that needed. Still a visa issue with Josh Lemos, Isaac Pereira, Chino, which are 3 just big, huge pieces to the team. But that said, players like Isaac Pereira came up through these extra players that we were talking about before with the previous topic, where he practiced with the Wave and got maybe a game or 2 a season in, where it was later on, playoffs were already decided, whatever, and he worked himself up to a starter. That's the kind of growth that the Wave is able to do. The problem is right now, it's 75% of the team is new. You only have 5 of 16 players who have played as a unit and together more, and only 2 that have played just a couple games here and there, because it was Mario Alvarez who was injured most of the 2019-20 season, and then Matt Yang, who was another player who practiced with the team for a number of years and finally got to play, but still didn't play that much in the last season. That's a huge part of it. Goalkeeping, I think the visa issue hit them very, 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 very hard. As much as I like Matt Perella, a lot of things have to change in order for him to keep that starting job. I'm going to make a prediction right now. Within the next 3 weeks, we're either going to see Josh Lemos or Joey Copinos in net. Going to be my guess. If Josh's visa doesn't come through, I think they go after Joey again and see what happens there. Defense. So, good news, Wave fans. Andre Hayne will be back for tomorrow's game. Bad news, Wave fans. Chamale's out for the season with an Achilles injury. Worse news, Wave fans. Huffman is out for, we'll say, 2 to 6 weeks with a nasty, got his finger caught in a jersey in the last 10 minutes of practice and popped the tendon in his finger. And he said he went to make a fist and this finger, it was his ring finger, so it's not the bad finger. Not this one, no. He said the finger didn't even move. So he had surgery on it last week. He's healing up. With a broken wrist or a broken finger, he could probably play with a cast after a couple of weeks, but with this tendon thing, they don't want that to do anything worse, so he's going to have to heal up a lot more before they can put a cast on and he can play. The last legitimate championship in this league is the Central Cup. I'll die on that hill. That's what Jack said.
Wait, Central Cup?
Yeah. Because Eric said, you mean the last legitimate championship season, Adam? Sure, we'll go with that. Because, all the 4 and 6 teams can make it into the playoffs and then make a run and win. That happens every year. What? What are we talking about again? So, that's my thought on the game. Kevin, Kevin says use the cast as a secret weapon, and a number of us have said, watching Derek Huffman in a big cast around the field would be just enjoyment. I did send him a message right when I saw the injury report, which has been updated this week for a couple teams, and it said he was out with a hand. I asked him who he punched, but that wasn't the case. It was.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping to see Derek back as soon as we can. What I think the defense is missing is someone to quarterback them, someone to drive them. Huffman could do it. Josh Lemos could absolutely do it. I think Perella's too new to the team and working within the confines of what's going on with the new rule and everything. Everyone's trying to figure it out. I think there's just not that leadership there that we need. Rafa had it. When you saw Matt Isold played, Isold didn't have it. He would yell at players if he got a goal score on him. He wouldn't try to get the players positioned correctly and get them into the game. Josh will whip these guys in shape if he comes back. Aaron Vega retired, so Vega is no longer playing. Vega has like 3 different businesses he's running and decided after the last season to retire. he wasn't going to play in the last COVID season either. He after 1920, he retired. We do.
But so now that we've talked about the Milwaukee side of it, I think we should mention the Kansas City side. I thought they looked really good.
What is there to say? Yikes!
Yeah. Leo Gibson's pass to Matt Lewis. Yep.
There were so that said about the Wave. There were a number of and anyone who's seen a Wave Comets game over the last 10 years knows these two teams play close. They battle. There's going to be blowouts here and there, but for the most part, you can almost expect a 1-goal game between them. But it's not going to be your typical like, oh, back and forth, back and forth. No, one team's going to be up by 3, one team's going to come back. I watched the last regular season game between Wave and Comets from the 2019-20 season the other day, and it was like 5-3 with 5 minutes left, and ended up 7-6 in overtime.
Yep.
So those are the kind of games that happen. But Kansas City, holy crap, there's a lot of speed on that team. There's solid defense. There's solid goalkeeping. The fact that they got both Rian and Lucas back so fast with visas makes me a little jealous and angry. Oh yeah, Aaron. Sorry, backtracking here. Aaron said that Vega was somebody who retired, but he could take control of that back line. And I think he could. And I think Marcio could too. I think Marcio is just so easygoing, and he's quiet on the field. He lets his footwork and his play do the talking. I think we need that vocal defender.
Yeah, I think the key to a Ron Newman Cup this season is going to be whoever wins it is going to have that one solid, like, big defender that can post up against one of these, like, really speedy, really technical, like, forwards, like a Frank Tayo or Rian Marquez, like
an Uzi Tayo.
Yeah.
Or a Derek Hoffman.
Exactly.
Or a Derek Hoffman. Or, there's a
or
number
a
of players.
Kobe, or...
Yep. Israel Cisse, another one.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the key for whoever wins the Ron Newman Cup. I think they're going to have that particular attribute.
Yeah, I mean, KC... So, another thing about KC, best video I've seen all year, or forever from them. It wasn't like the other ones were bad. It's just one was just that much more crisp and clear. Definitely the best broadcast I've seen, maybe ever in indoor soccer. Go with that. But they're definitely going to be a force, and we're playing them again tomorrow on our home field. Now there's some bright points to what I saw. Kyle Crane is going to be amazing. He was on the Wave a number of years ago as one of those players who never made a game day roster. And then he went to go play for Mark Litton's team, the Bruce City Legends, which are PASL.
PASL, yeah.
And he was great. He showed a lot of promise. Matt Yang, I think, is showing some promise. Tyler Turner's going to be a great player once he settles in, and once maybe he can get the voice and he can lead the team from the back. There's a lot of good pieces there.
I think, so speaking of Tyler Turner, I think he should come back to Utica and show the Utica fans what they were supposed to get.
Can't have him. Can't have him as ours. We need him.
So do we.
Yeah. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow. I don't know how different the roster will look. Like I said, Andre Hain will be back. I don't know if Coach Jules, with only 2 days, is going to turn around and make some changes. I think the reason the Wave was so strong in the championship season, in the last real championship season, Eric, was how deep they were.
Yep.
You got a guy, and another guy there I would mention, Ander Wiedebach, was another, and he had an interview in one of the local paper 4 or 5 years ago that he said, I understand where my position is on the team. I'm a bubble player. So I'm not going to make the game day roster unless someone gets injured or in a position where we can sit some players and rest some players. But I know that, he goes, I know I'm getting better every year and eventually I'm going to break through. He definitely broke through last season. He did not break through in the championship season because there were just so many good players on the team. And it's like hard to say. It's like when we did those awards, like for the best all team. Like, oh, this person deserves an award. Okay, well, who do we take off? Crap.
Right.
I have no idea. That's kind of what the Wave is like. The Wave isn't anywhere near as deep this year. We have one very, very good line that can compete with any line in the league, and the rest can't compete with the first lines. Whereas in the championship season, we had 3 lines that could compete with any line in the league. But that will happen. That time will come. Coach Jules is the best at bringing up young talent and getting people to work together. Just need a little bit of time. So I'm looking at it. You know, it's not doom and gloom. We're undefeated this year, winless, even though we have a point. But I think there's going to be. I think we only go up from here, and I think we're going to see that.
And another positive from this is I don't have to get a tattoo.
Right. Yes, you do not have to get. Well, we knew that anyway. But it was surprising because I knew there were going to be a lot of changes, especially with all the players we signed. I did not see Kevin. I don't know if it's somebody needs to find out if it's Naranjo or Naranjo. Because
I think it's Naranjo. I think it's similar to the. It's Kevin Orange.
You would think so, but I remember one of the Orlando broadcasts saying that, oh, well, we actually asked him and it's Naranjo. You actually pronounced the J. But I don't know if that's just broadcasters making stuff up because we know.
I don't know. I'm done with pronunciations. I've known Bo Yelovak for years, and now it's Yelovitz, and I don't know. I
had a friend of the last name is Zerbel, and for years he wanted to be called Zerbel because he thought it sounded more professional.
It does. It does have a nice ring to it.
Like, what are you, French? No, German.
Oui.
So that's that. I think that's that with the Wave game. We'll get into tomorrow's game, pick us on a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to. We needed to touch on that one, just to get it out of the way.
Yep. Now we're good.
So you know what? What a good time. You know, it's a good time for right now.
Cake.
Well, that too. But let's take a quick time out.
Okay.
Now, back to them.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you very much. We're back. I didn't really need a timeout. I just wanted to play that clip because I thought it was funny.
So let's tell the story behind that. So we had Joey Zanaboni do an intro for us, and it was the first rendition was more hits than a Celine Dion record
Playlist, or yeah,
and then at the end he said, "And now back to them," and then we're like, Joey, it's an intro.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, what are we gonna do with that?
So what we found out when we had Joey on the show is that the laid back, reserved, dare I say, introspective Joey is the Joey that you get when you ask him to come on In the Box on a Thursday night for free. The salami in a bull shark aquarium, let's get ripped, baby. Joey is the one that you send money to his Venmo account, and that's which Joey shows up. So we found that out. So we are looking for maybe a possible different intro that we will, maybe we'll take a collection, have like a corn dog bake sale or something, and send the proceeds over to Joey.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good.
But so next topic. Dallas
What is the next topic?
Dallas sidekick. So after 3 games, Pablo da Silva, former Wave player, former Milwaukee area coach, youth coach, now is living in Dallas as the assistant coach for the futsal team there, along with other coaching things he does, was fired after 3 games for philosophical differences, which nobody knows what the hell that means. Is that like he got in a fight in the parking lot with the owner? He told the owner to go F himself and he got banned from his Facebook group. What does that mean? Well, right. If you look at what's happened with Dallas in the last 7 signings or so, I think it speaks what exactly happened. I think what happened there was the owner wanted the old players back, and Pablo wanted to work on his new players. And when they couldn't come to an agreement on that, they fired Pablo and they brought the old players back. You got Cody Ellis, you got Cameron Brown, got Jamie Lovegroove. And by the way, Jamie or any of the Dallas players, if you ever see that, when you guys were in Turlock, actually, was it even Dallas? I think it was Dallas. When Jamie was in Turlock.
No, I think it was it San Diego?
I can't remember.
It was a San Diego Turlock game, I think.
But whenever Mario Alvarez, the announcer, not the Wave player, whenever he said something and he called Jamie's last name, instead of saying Lovegrove, he called him Lovegroove. And we just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. So
it is quite amusing.
So Jamie, I'm sorry. Like my last name is Granatella. People screw my name up all the time, but you are forever known as Lovegroove on In the Box.
So wait, Cody Ellis signed with Dallas?
What? Yes.
Cody Ellis.
Yes.
Oh.
That was announced yesterday.
Oh, well, congrats.
Congrats to Cody.
Cody Ellis, fan of In the Box.
Everyone's a fan of In the Box.
I did not know that.
So the players that were signed, Rio Ramirez was today, Cody Ellis was yesterday, Jamie Lovegroove was on the 28th.
They hid that really well, too, by the way. Or was it Cameron Brown that they hid really well?
Cameron Brown was on the 23rd. That was before our last show. Yeah, somebody goofed up there a little bit. Yeah, that was a goof on both the leagues and Dallas's part, I assume.
Yeah, but I think so. Going back to the whole situation, I think this is it's a sad story. It really is. Pablo da Silva, and I've said this before. I think watching back when I was watching Syracuse Silver Knights games, Pablo da Silva is one of my favorite players, not on Syracuse.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think coaching is up his alley. And I think he deserved a chance to show what he could do. Now, the philosophical differences thing I don't get. Apparently the Dallas the Dallas owner is excited about losing, I guess.
Yeah, maybe the philosophical differences if Pablo wanted to win and Dallas didn't.
Yeah.
I hope things can turn around for them.
But yeah, at the same time, I mean, with Cody Ellis, Cameron Brown, Jamie Lovegroove, Rio Ramirez back, why don't you just get the whole band back together? Get Vic Morligwe, get Freddie Mugin. I hope Pablo finds another coaching spot somewhere.
I think he commented that he's not going to play anymore. That's done. But however, Aaron Bennett, to your point, Pablo da Silva could whip that defense of the Wave into shape, big time.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great spot for him as well, as alongside Coach Jules.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean on the field, if he would play again. But.
Well, yeah, that as well.
I mean, so we have Tenzin Rampa as assistant coach. Tenzin was a great defender for a decade for the Wave, and I think it's not like they don't know what they need to fix. There's a question always come up like last year. Wow, what does Dallas need to fix? Well, we think they need to do this. Coach Jules knows. In fact, see if I can find this. If you are a Milwaukee Wave fan, you do not get all the emails from them. Contact them at I don't know what their email address is, but contact them and make sure you get on the mailing list because they always send a post chat or a post game like recap email. And let me read this for you because it's this is a tough one to swallow, said head coach Giuliano Oliviero. We're having a tough time remaining focused through these games. Indoor is a game of up and downs, and we're not managing it either very well right now. I wish we would have played a little more grit. I wish we would have played with a little more grit down the stretch. Yes, we're dealing with a lot of adversity right now, but the bottom line in this sport and in life, there's an opportunity for the next player to step up, and it's up to them to seize that opportunity. But we're just not seeing that right now, to be brutally honest.
Cough, Baltimore, cough.
But yeah, so I mean, he's not one to hold punches, pull punches. It's going to be, you're going to hear it straight from his mouth of what's going on and what's wrong. And he's said some things like they always do. I'm sure every team does this, but they always like run up with the wave board and have him do like a little 30-second interview right at the end of halftime before they goes in the locker room. And he's said some stuff on the field before, like, holy crap, I don't want to be in that locker room right now. Yeah, and other players have said, he goes, well, after they've lost a game, they're like, well, the locker room should be fun after the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Wave fans, don't panic yet. I don't think there's ever a reason to panic with this organization. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be a huge amount of energy in that building.
Yeah.
So
do we want to segue into predictions now?
Why don't we segue into predictions, because we have a little funny. We're going to do New Year's resolutions for every team next, but let's go into predictions.
Okay.
First game, Comets and Wave, 3 p.m. East or 3 p.m. Central at the UW Panther Arena. 663 days since the last home game in Milwaukee.
I think we predicted this game already. I think we did it last week.
Yep.
I'm going to stick to my pick. I'm going to take Milwaukee. And I have gotten hold of everyone's favorite prognosticator, if you will.
Henry?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, Hannah.
Henry does not predict games. He just makes fart noises. That's all he does.
It's a valuable skill, though.
Yeah, it is, but not when you're asking, oh, who do you want to win, this team or this team? A fart is not really helpful.
Oh, boy.
Hannah went with Milwaukee.
Okay. I based on just my feelings from last night, I want to change my pick, but I'm going to stick with Milwaukee for this one. We haven't seen him play at home yet, and if speaking of not wanting to be in the locker room after game, I wouldn't want to be on that bus ride after that game back in town, because that's I normally chat with at least a couple players and wish them well and things like that, win or lose. But that one I was like, you know what, you guys know, the game got away.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did after those two losses. I did not talk to any players. I'm like, nope. Y'all know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
For the record, I know the game is going on right now, and I don't know the score. Adam sort of knows the score. Hannah picked Dallas to win. So
Dallas is currently
let me get that out of the way.
Yeah, Dallas is currently up 16-4.
Okay, well,
no, they are.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm seeing is the Dallas is getting better.
Okay.
So we'll leave it at that.
Well, after the show, we will. I'll go back and watch the game.
And I got two interesting chats. One I can't repeat, and the other one was our good friend Dave, Maryland Dave, saying "Corn Dog Man" reporting for chat duty. So there's
happy birthday! It's like day 7 of his birthday month or something like that. I don't know.
Dave has a epic birthday celebration. Rion Marquez. So Jack. First, Susie said, relax, like the Aaron Rodgers relax. Jack Williams says tie game with the weird eyes looking this way. And I thought we don't have that. And then Rion Marquez puts 3 eyes in a row. And sorry, Rion, you're, and Lucas also, oh boy, we're getting killed here. We got KC in the chat and we're talking about the Wave KC game. And
for the record,
now, back to them.
Okay, so for the record, Kansas City players, my daughter also picked Milwaukee. So please take it easy. Because not only are you going after us, you're going after my little girl.
So the funny thing is, and Milwaukee fans can attest to this. We have learned to love to hate Kansas City over the years. And when I first started really watching games, it was back to the Missouri Comets before they went back to the Kansas City Comets, and there was just a goddamn Danny Waltman saving every shot ever, and then the trio of we got they're all in the chat. Andros is in the chat too. Hey guys.
Wait. Okay. So some of us don't have chats. So what is going on?
So we got the googly eyes, like the eyes that are all looking down.
Who is in chat? Like that like googly eyes and stuff. Yeah.
From Rian and Lucas, and then Christian Andros has the like this guy, and then Brighton FC says Hannah is better than Hubes. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that, even Hughes himself.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just now that someone wants to get it started, I might as well, because I know who that is. Because there's only one person that calls me that.
It's
I will. And so the game. Let's just go back to the game real quick then. Milwaukee. Or Matt Perella let 10 in, I would imagine Willie B would have been like 20, 25 at least. So
Neto's here too. So let me finish my thought. So
okay.
Because I was talking about hating Kansas City. I don't want to leave it there. 2020 in that All-Star game experience in Kansas City, and then last season has changed me as a person.
As same with me. Same with me.
It is really hard to watch. It was hard to watch the game last night from a Wave fan perspective, but I smiled every time Rian scored.
As did I. Although, okay.
Mike De Silva's in the chat. What the hell? Did you guys call a whole team?
They're probably like after like game film and stuff like that. They're like, oh, we'll watch him in the box and see what happens.
No, Rian probably said, "Hey guys, they're talking shit about us. Everyone get in the chat."
I will pick Kansas City if Rian Marquez underneath his shirt, instead of the saying he had yesterday, has one that says like, "I want a corn dog," and then he puts it over his head.
So here it is. We finally got to meet Nick and Eric in person. Had a great dinner with Eric, got to meet a bunch of the players, we talked to Leo Gibson before the All-Star game. We've talked to Nick McDonald a couple times. Rian, you've been in chat like on half of our shows. It's been great. I'm a Kansas City fan. What can I say? But it's our home. It's our team, and it's going to be hard to not root for every goal, but I'm rooting for the Wave all the way. You can't take that away from me. Where are you going here?
I have to plug my phone in.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not going to use the excuse of, oh my gosh, my phone's dying, and then hop off and leave you stranded.
Then you have to forfeit.
Yeah, I have to forfeit.
My phone's out of battery. I got to forfeit. It's funny. As soon as you plug your phone in, your video goes wacky.
Yeah, I know.
Your audio's still fine.
I just noticed that.
Mike, it is cold in Milwaukee. We're supposed to get like a ridiculous amount of snow. So we're in the upper northeast corner of Walworth County, southwest corner of Waukesha County, and we're supposed to get like 2 to 15 feet of snow on Saturday. So that'll be fun.
It's supposed to rain here.
Yeah. But so Matt,
all right, we should just move on from this game, because apparently we are
well, now that we have the entire KC team in the chat, we should keep talking about KC. Matt Sterling says, I feel like you guys should keep records on picks, and whoever ends the season with the worst record has to get a corn dog tattooed on their butt.
Well, here's the thing. I am not going to allow my 8-year-old daughter to have a corn dog tattoo on her rear end.
Yeah, and I don't want another one.
Yeah, it's not. It's not good.
Rian says, no explanation needed, Adam. Much respect for you guys. Same here, man.
That's right.
I love watching you guys when it's not against us, and when the playoff implications don't. Like last year, I was rooting for you guys the whole way. But then again, we also made friends with.
There.
Yeah.
I was in Kansas City for the playoffs, rooting for Kansas City.
Yep. We are. Our San Diego trip got screwed up, but we're hoping maybe a playoff game somewhere, and KC is probably right up there. We want to go somewhere warm too, but I think we may need to make more than one trip.
I am making more than one trip.
All right, let's get back to our picks here because we got a little sidetracked from somebody.
We did.
Does
Kansas City have another game this weekend?
No, they're done. No, they don't.
Darn. I was gonna pick them anyways.
Sidekicks at the ambush at the same time, so we have 2 New Year's Eve games at the same time.
Okay, so Hannah went with St. Louis. I will also go with St. Louis.
Can
I pick Kansas City for that game? All right, I'm just going to pick Kansas City for that game.
I pick KC too. KC will win that game easily. Next game is the Sidekicks at the Wave, 2:05 Eastern on Sunday.
I think we're all in agreement. Milwaukee.
I'm going to say the same thing, the opposite of what I said about Florida. Until Florida proves that they can lose, I'm going to pick them every game. Until the Sidekicks prove they can win, I'm going to pick against them every game. Plus, it's the Wave. I have the Wave in the absolute worst case that the Wave is what is it? 3-1, I guess, is the way the record would be if they lose tomorrow. This will be the game that they pick their season back up and take off with. I'm calling that right now.
Okay.
The next game that has a big implication is the Utica City FC against the Florida Tropics, 3:05 Eastern on Sunday.
You go ahead.
Do we see the UCFC that played Florida before, or do we see the UCFC that played the Heat? Or the last 7 quarters of the Heat? Because the first quarter against the Heat was no good. But the last 7 quarters were then good. I'm going to pick... I got to pick Florida.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a close game. But I think... again, I mean, they only lost to the Fury, but the Fury is a really, really damn good team.
Okay. So I'm going to speak on behalf of myself and Hannah.
Jack just said Utica with the upset, but only because Hugo is suspended, and I generally don't know who they're going to play in goal. As soon as we're done with the picks, we have some news on that. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, well, that kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but
sorry.
Yeah.
Can we rewind?
So, without Hugo Silva in net, it's going to be a different Florida team. The first game, Utica did outshoot Florida. And Hugo Silva stood on his head that game. With in regards to Utica, I think we saw a turning of the ship, especially in that last game against Harrisburg. And it was sad that Willie B wasn't out there to let all 8 of those goals in, or was it 9? I forget, but he would have let in those 9 goals anyways, regardless.
It's on.
So I think you saw the Utica of old, and I think you're going to see that Utica team going forward. We might be getting Anua Obasi back in the lineup, which is huge, back in defense. I think the key is going to be breaking down that back line of Chad Vandergriff and Drew Ruggles. And I think you're going to see Utica pull off the upset this week. It might be different next week with Hugo back in net. But I am going to take Utica as well as Hannah. Hannah's going to take Utica as well.
Oh, so the only game she didn't pick the home team was Utica. There's a surprise. All right, let's come back to Florida in a second. Let's do the last game, which is there's two for me. There's three big games, Utica and Tropics too, but the Wave and Comets and then the Fury and Sockers is probably the game of the week for everyone. 8:05 Eastern on Sunday night. The last indoor soccer before everyone goes back to work on Monday and does that.
So, this is where Hannah and I have different opinions. Hannah is going to be taking San Diego in this one. I'm going to take Ontario. I think what I saw out of them against Florida was a lot better than what I saw San Diego against Chihuahua. And with the big news coming out of San Diego, Boris Pardo entering health and safety protocols will not be available for this game.
San Diego also released Jose Gonzalez, Charlie's brother. And I'm sure that's
And they also released Jamie Lovegrove.
Well, that's true because he was going back to. But I think that's I don't think that'll have as big of an effect as it would have in Ontario. But I'm picking Ontario for this one because of the same reasons. They kind of got it together against Chihuahua late in both games, but they were held to 1 goal for 3.5 quarters against Chihuahua in that first game. And they were only held to 3 in the other one.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see who San Diego puts in goal.
Yeah, that should be interesting to see. I don't know. Do they have Arriaga still? I don't know who they have.
Let's
look. They have Xavier Snare Williams and Boris Pardo. So that's it. That's their goalkeepers.
All right. Well, Ontario for me.
Someone named Brighton FC says all that soda has you talking crazy, Hubes. Oh boy.
Okay, so let's just what you guys need to do is go on to the Harrisburg Heat webpage. I think it's on there, where you will see the graceful Willie B going through one cone drill, actually through one cone. The most graceful video I have ever seen in my entire life. But he's out there working, and we're very excited that he's out there. Will the Wall, as they call him.
Will the Wall.
I don't call him that.
Question for Will the Wall. Are you interested in being on In the Box next Thursday? Question for people in the chat. Are you interested in having Will the Wall in the box?
I will. I have a hair appointment that day, so I don't know.
All right, we got our picks in. Let's get back to Florida for a second.
Florida, great place, great turf.
So,
great fan.
Quiz time. On average, how many goalkeepers do you think each team carries on their rosters?
Well, I mean, your typical teams will carry 2. And I think that's normal throughout the entire league.
I've seen 2 and I've seen 3, but the third is the guy who maybe is one of the guys that's practicing and only gets signed if he needs to be playing, may not show up on the league site. How many goalies do you think Florida has on their roster?
Well, I think I know the answer because you and I talked about this yesterday, but what is it, 4 or 5?
It's 4. They have Hugo Silva, Jorge Navarrete, who was their backup last year. They signed Brett Petracek, and recently signed Chris Frederick.
Who?
Chris Frederick.
He's no Willie B, I can tell you that.
You know Willie B, but you know who he is. And I'm reading this right off of the MASL article. Frederick is well known as an influencer and serial entrepreneur. He owns numerous businesses in e-commerce and internet marketing with his brand Wi-Fi Money. As a savvy social media presence, he boasts over 3.2 million followers on his Instagram account. To learn more about his business ventures, visit www.wifimoney.com. He signed a 5-year deal with the Florida Tropics.
Good for them.
So, what the hell is this? So if you go to his Instagram, there are pictures of him in private jets on private islands with like what are those infinity pools, private planes, on yachts, like all these exotic cars. I think he owns a company that rents exotic cars. Apparently, February of 2021, he posted his total February income was $1.7 million for 1 month. Must have been a slow month, apparently.
Yeah.
What? What is this?
So this kind of reminds me, and it's not of the like this is huge, but there was something similar a few years ago. Do you remember when Orlando signed that one guy that was like, I think he was a good futsal player, but he was all about like Instagram and making YouTube videos and
Derek Huffman?
No, it was like Ronaldo R9 or R something.
I apparently missed that because no, I don't remember that.
No, he was supposed to be at Orlando on the Orlando Seawolves, and he was supposed, or maybe it was Florida, I forget. But what?
Alec with the comment of the night so far. So first, Willie B says he's 30 seconds behind. The way the YouTube and the chat and what you hear and where we get it and stuff is it's so weirdly delayed. And I think that's so we can bleep out Matt when he goes off on an F-bomb rant. But no, that's just a streaming thing. He said if Hannah's there, yes. If you're there, a hard maybe.
Well, it's gonna be a hard maybe for quite a while.
So then Alec with the comment of the night so far, I think, is he needed money. He needed some money after that slow month, so he signed with the Tropics. I don't get it.
Pretty much all I can think of.
I would be. It makes a lot of sense, and I mean the guy does have soccer experience. He's played with nothing that I recognize. You know, some pro leagues in Germany. Obviously, not the top of the top of the bill or anything, but they signed him for a 5-year deal, which is like Florida's new thing.
Well, best of luck to him. You know,
but he's a goalkeeper. But is he a field player? Is he going to play? I would have much rather seen this as like a partnership. Like, hey, the guy as our team partner, and he's going to be, because obviously there's going to be money exchange here. He's going to be pumping money into the team or whatever. I would rather see it like that than we got an influencer on our team. Like,
I've got it. This is Florida's version of Landon Donovan coming to San Diego.
That's kind of what I view it as.
You are going to see Florida's attendance double. Wait.
But if you
0 times 2,
I saw this on a Facebook post.
Oh, 0 times 2 is still 0. Okay,
1 plus 1 times 0 times 2. Okay. Right. Are we now gonna say that like Instagram followers counts as attendance numbers? Are we going to see Florida jump to the top of the list of attendance with 3 million people per game?
3.2 million. Maybe with that $1.7 million that he made in January of 2021, maybe you can buy Florida a new turf.
So here's the other thing. Does a guy, and I mean, this guy's Instagram photos are gorgeous. They're for some very exotic places, very, very nice pictures. Is he going to be seen on that turf in a Florida uniform?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he starts Sunday against Utica.
Do we? I don't have the circus music queued up on the.
But if it does happen, I will play that during the entire game.
I'm just making some notes here of stuff I need to grab for the soundboard for future shows. I don't understand. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it's one of those things like what's going on? Like, why if most of that article is about his Instagram followers and this is business and this and that, instead of, oh, he was first team All-American at Rutgers University and he played in this league and this league and this league. Instead, it's all about like business and money and Instagram.
He played in. There's one sentence about his soccer.
Yeah,
Soccer.
and that right there, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's Florida doing Florida things.
Yeah. 5-year contract. He's 28 years old. He's played for BSC Erlangen, which I know I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, PSV Nuremberg, and TuS Castle EV in Germany.
Okay, cool. All right. Well then.
And he's a young goalkeeper who's been on their radar since playing in Germany. No, he hasn't. Oh.
I think we spent like 10 minutes way too long on this topic.
It's funny, though. It's going to be the topic that keeps giving.
No, we have someone in the chat that we could talk about that I could talk about for hours. So.
Sidekicks
are we doing New Year's resolutions now?
Let me see if I got through all my topics. There's one of the games I watched. I watched 2 games this past week to get me back into. I had to test a new TV out too, but I saw the 2017 Wave Cedar Rapids game, the Wave home opener, and it was Keith Tozer night. So they had a dedication and a banner for Keith Tozer, and they had him on the broadcast in the third quarter at halftime for a little short interview. And they started, Art Kramer is big against goalkeepers moving forward. And
right.
They asked him about, what do you think about this goalkeeper thing? He's like, I hate it. I don't go to games to pay money to see, Josh Lemos play, even though he's good with his feet. I pay money to see Marcio Leite play. Play with his feet. I don't want to see goalkeepers score. I want to see the players. So I got a kick out of that because that was, almost 5 years ago now. And so that was funny. I got a kick out of that. Yeah, Jack says the one line about the radar is a major red flag is why he was really signed back to the. And Jack says, I'm starting a rumor right now that it's a money laundering scheme.
Well,
yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, so the last segment of our show tonight, depending on what kind of nonsense comes up in the chat again, is New Year's resolutions for each team. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
Me?
Yes.
3. Why not?
All right, we will start with the West. And I have these written down in order they were on the site. So, San Diego.
Okay. So for San Diego, my New Year's resolution is, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, they've got a great team, so I can't really say what they need. Yeah, I don't really have anything. Maybe maybe some depth at goal.
I have one. Stop mentioning the fact that you played all your games on the road and won the Ron Newman Championship last season. Because you were 4-6 in the regular season with all your games on the road. How's that for a nice, cheerful one?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Ontario.
Ontario's New Year's resolution needs to be, revenge from last season. You had a taste of the finals. You were really, really close. I think your New Year's resolution is finish the job.
Yep. We need, 5 more minutes of defense would have won them the championship. So I as the kind of self-proclaimed, but they kind of proved it, best conditioned team in the league, I think they just need to keep it up and keep up what they're doing.
Absolutely.
New Year's resolution, maybe send a jersey to one or both of us.
Well, I will be out there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm in talks with all 3 of them. So we'll figure it out.
More corn dogs.
Right. Yes. Did you forget who was out in the West?
No, Kevin says San Diego needs to renew their rivalry with the Crunch. And Matt said once we multiplied Tropics by Chris Frederick's NFTs, then it's 100% money laundering. All right, Tacoma.
Okay. So I have been rooting for Tacoma behind the scenes for a while now. I had them pretty much winning the Ron Newman Cup last season. I think they've already got their Christmas present I think they already got their Christmas present with a new coach. I think Nick Pereira is more focused on the field.
Yep.
And I think you saw that the last game when they played Dallas. And so I think having Nick out on the field more and not having to worry about coaching is definitely going to pay dividends for Tacoma.
I agree. Yep. I think they need to do something to break the mold because they've been doing the same things over and over and over again and getting really close to the same results.
Yeah, and I would like to put this out there. I know I wrote it down in the box chat. I will not be wearing this jersey to the Tacoma Utica game in April.
Yeah?
This is not what I will be wearing.
You'll have it with you.
I will bring the jersey, but I am not wearing it.
Yeah. How about for me, find the corn dog trophy and send it back if you don't want it. I'll pay shipping.
Okay, there you go.
And we'll give it to someone who appreciates it.
Yeah.
Chihuahua.
Mine is more for you. I think Chihuahua should win 12 games, so Jay gets to pay you $20.
13. They got to win 13.
Oh, 13. Okay.
Yep.
13 wins, and
yep.
I think you're going to see. I think Chihuahuas should gain momentum with every game.
Yep.
There's a lot of players from Monterey and some from Sonora kind of sprinkled in, and I think you're going to see a lot better product come April. And I think gaining momentum after each game is definitely key.
Agreed. You want to do Central or East next?
That doesn't matter to me.
Let's do East.
Okay.
Baltimore.
Do I tell you what I was telling you before we went on the air?
Maybe not.
For Baltimore, I think an apology to your fans. or to the fans of the MASL.
Field a team. How about
That
that?
as well.
New Year's resolution is field a team.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Harrisburg.
Instead of hiding, I know that I mentioned this a bunch in the early part of the show, but we've had a representative from Utica come out and say what's going on. Where's Baltimore?
Yep.
Radio silence.
And you know what's funny is Susie just said something. I missed two of Susie's comments because it was in the middle of all when the Casey guys came in. So Susie says, and this is about the Wave game, are you thinking due to the excitement of being home they'll play with more energy? Yes, absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
Sorry, I missed that one. And what was the other one? It was about the whole Baltimore thing. Why did the league post about it when there was nothing to say at the time? It just adds to the drama and starts rumors. Absolutely correct. I think what happened is the league is, oh boy. We got some interesting ones coming up. We're not moving on from Baltimore apparently for a second. I think what happened was the league was upset at Milwaukee for posting that Baltimore forfeited when it wasn't a league posted thing, even though the decision, everything that I've heard was already made. But it still makes no sense to post that about nothing because nothing was. I think they're just trying to say, you know what? Nothing was said yet, and that's why we haven't adjusted the standings. So we're just going to make this weird statement that doesn't say anything.
Right.
But there were some. If you want to look at some funny comments, go watch or go read the comments in that post on the MSL's Facebook page, because one of them said like, "This is the worst PR release in the history of PR releases" or something, and there was another one, if doing the absolute possible least and then doing less than that was a thing. But yeah, so for Jack, he says for Baltimore, a normal size field and a good legal team. And Susie says, why are teams able to play on different size fields?
Well, I mean, it's arena availability in Baltimore barely meets the league minimum, so they are allowed to do it, unfortunately. But
yeah, the league came up with a so different facilities are different size. So Susie, if you've ever been at either Eline or Brookfield indoor in the Milwaukee area, those are like 160, 165 feet. The max, like the UW Panther Arena, is 200 by 85. And over the years, just fields are different sizes. The Blast were going to lose their contract with the Royal Farms Arena, and Towson was really the only place they could go. It was a basketball arena only. It was built specifically for that, which is much smaller than an indoor soccer field. The laws say 150 minimum. I don't think that field is 150 feet. There's just no way it's 150, because they claim the yellow line to the goal is 50 feet, and there's no way it's yellow line to yellow line is 50 feet. It's just not possible. Yeah, Susie dislocated her shoulder playing soccer at Brookfield. Yes. So yeah, I think Brookfield is like it's either 162 or 172 or something like that feet. They're just different sizes. It all has to do with building size. Now, if they're following places that have hockey, almost always going to be that 200 by 85 size.
Yep.
But if they're not, it's going to be varied. Some of them are like 190. Some of them, and actually, there's a spot on the league page somewhere. I found this at one. Here it is. If you go to the league, maslsoccer.com, and go to MASL on the menu and about, they have all of the teams and their field dimensions. So like those of you watching Dallas right now, it's actually 200 by 80 and not 200 by 85. Tacoma's also 200 by 80. UCFC somehow is 195 by 85.
Oh boy.
Monterey Flash is 180.4 by 85.3. And there's nothing listed for Chihuahua. Or Rochester, I know, was a little smaller. And then there's the Blast with 150 by 85. We've gotten into that discussion a lot, but
Yeah.
James Kowalczyk says opinions on the new ambush jersey. Love it. I'm getting one at some point, hopefully.
We've already sung Shelley's praises.
Well,
so
or swore at her for making us buy another jersey. However you want to look at it.
Yes, I have. As you can see, I have way too many, and there's like 6 of them in the chair across from me.
Oh,
so I own way too many jerseys at this point. With no end in sight.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So Kevin says, do Ambush still have that annoying bushwhacker? Absolutely, but still not as annoying as whatever the hell the thing is in UCFC. Jack says UCFC is 195 because they have to build temporary boards on one end of the building to put a second goal in. That's where you lose the 5 feet. So I imagine hockey is the 200.
Wow, Jack knows everything about UCFC.
And then Alec says a team in the NAL, which is arena football, played on a field that had yards that were shorter than 3 feet so they could still have a full field. Oh, that's amazing. One thing I miss about the football lines on soccer is the guy in Cedar Rapids who used to call down the yard numbers when the guy was running down the field. But the problem was,
oh my God, they should have kept the football markers up in the Florida's turf. I can just hear Brian Ackley like, and Victor Perez at the 20. He's 15. At the 15. 10. 5.
Oh yeah.
Try to go!
Yeah. All right. I think we're moving on from Baltimore.
Yeah. Yep.
Harrisburg. This is interesting.
New goalie. Move on.
Harrisburg.
New goalie. Move on.
How about not a dirt floor? There we go.
No, I'm sticking to mine.
He hasn't said anything in a while, so he may not still be here.
Oh, maybe, maybe he gave up.
Maybe he gave up. Maybe.
All right. No, seriously. I think Harrisburg is the same as Chihuahua. I think you're going to see there's a few core players that have been there since day one. Danny DePrima, Tom Mellor, Bradley Kerstetter. And then you've got some of the other guys. You've got Willie B. You've got
don't forget
Dominic Francis, Elton De Oliveira, that have been around the block for a while. I think it's going to be those guys that have to teach these younger guys the game.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they really changed half their team. I think the Heat right now is more where Milwaukee's at than where Chihuahua's at right now. Because Chihuahua has all the pieces in place. They just need to get. Oh, Willie B's here. So, all right.
Did he hear my comment, or is he just like randomly?
No. I think he heard it. I think he only says I'm here. He didn't say anything else. I think he's working up his reply.
Well, so disregard what I said about like a minute ago.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, good.
Off the official record. UCFC.
Okay. Do you want to take this one first?
Consistency. I think we'll go with consistency. I think if they play the way they do against the Heat the second game, they're going to be unbeatable. If they play the way they do against Florida, there's problems. So there needs to be consistency every week.
So it's kind of funny you mentioned New Year's resolutions and stuff. We actually did that last night on Keepers Corners podcast. My New Year's resolution for Utica is finish strong. You look at 2 seasons ago, and our good friend in the chat's gonna remember exactly. He knows where I'm going with this. Utica got blown out in Sonora. And then the next game gave up a 5-goal lead against Kansas City, lost in overtime. And then that game in Harrisburg to end Utica's season.
It was brutal.
And and we've kind of seen this over the last few years. Utica kind of like trending downward a little bit towards the end of the season. Honestly, at this point, I don't care where Utica lies in the standings. Come playoff time, I want them to be playing really well going into the playoffs. We saw it in San Diego last year. They were 4-6 going into playoffs, and then they just light switch went on. They played hot. They ended up winning first place in that little tournament that they had.
Yeah. San Diego Cup.
Yeah, the San Diego Cup.
Ontario
Cup,
the Ontario Invitational.
Right. So I think Utica finishing strong this season is definitely something that they need to do.
Yeah, I agree. If you look at the Blast's like blueprint over the last how many ever years, they just didn't look great through the regular season. They looked good. I mean, they were good, but then they just ramped it up, and they gained momentum going into the playoffs and just took off from there. And we know they have back to back 10-time blah 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 championship, but they earned them, with the exception of one handball thing.
And I think if they get some of these visa issues resolved, you'll definitely see a even better Utica team with Darren Toby coming back, Ricardo Diegues hopefully coming back. But yeah, that I just think finishing the season strong, going into playoffs.
All right. Willie B chimed in and said, UCFC, Hubes lose the blue wig. Want to tell him?
Wait, what?
He said Hubes loses the blue wig.
I did. I lost.
No, that was his New Year's resolution for you. I don't think he knows.
I lost the blue wig already. I'm wearing the suit now. I wore the suit to the game against Harrisburg.
Oh, there you go.
Wait, did I? No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, I did not. I just wore a regular jersey and jeans.
Oh, you're dressing down for the you're a man of the people.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to wear it. Plus, I went to work. I was at work, and then I drove right to the game, so I didn't have time to change. So.
That'll do it. All right, last team in the East, Florida Tropics.
I mean, where do we really begin?
I think we can sum it up with a one sentence. I
will say, change the fans' experience.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, that's it. And it's not just Florida fans; it's fans of the game. They deserve better. Your players deserve to have a better product out there, and that includes everything.
Yep.
People in the stands.
Like you said. Yeah, it's not just Florida fans. It's fans of those players on your team.
Kevin is maybe a low blow saying win a playoff game, Florida. Yikes.
Well, hang on. Utica hasn't won a playoff game either, so.
Yeah, that's true. But Utica didn't try to buy a team to specifically win the playoffs.
Right. But, yeah, just like you were saying, I think the product they put on YouTube is subpar. I think the fan experience at a home game is subpar. You're letting fans of this league down.
Absolutely. You are, as the famous owner of Milwaukee said, you are devaluing the league with the product you put on the field.
Right. And I've told those players in Florida, you guys deserve a lot better.
Alex says, where's the Orlando's turf? It was far better than Florida's and would be a great replacement. That was actually Kansas City's old turf. That was a hand-me-down from Kansas City as it was.
And from what I've heard, Lewis Melcher has looked into purchasing that
for $17.
after his turf got confiscated by the Dallas Sidekicks.
Oh, by the way, I did see Dallas painted their full logo on their field, and you can actually make out in green Dallas Sidekicks. It actually looks pretty good.
Okay, good.
All right, yeah, I think that's enough said about Florida. And how many Instagram followers does it take to buy a new turf? Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Because that's just, it looks bad.
Isn't that a thing? Isn't like maybe I don't know if it's different than Twitter, but don't people do stuff on Twitter like, oh, how many retweets before you do this, this, and this, and the company will write back and be like, oh, 10,000.
Yeah.
That should, I don't know if that would happen, but.
All right. And the last division, Central, I think I did these in whatever order they showed up on the league at the time that I wrote them down.
Okay.
So the waiver first. You go first.
I think Milwaukee needs to address that whole defensive third. I think you have a great offense, a solid midfield, and I think that back line has to be solidified.
I would agree. I would, we need some visas, but that's not really that's more of a Christmas present that we need rather than a New Year's resolution.
Well, we did say before we went on, we would do kind of like Christmas present / New Year's resolution.
I want Josh Lemos, and I won't be too needy. I want either Chino or Isaac. Both would be great, but I would settle for one of them.
Yep.
But yeah, I think with Chamale going out for the season, I think they need to pick up another defender somewhere. Whether it's a free agent or somebody that can step up. They had a guy whose name something that I can't.
Who was named something? Okay.
Steinwasser.
Steinwasser played for
Javier Steinwasser.
Muskegon Risers.
Yes, he looked good in the 2 games he was in, but he went out with a pretty nasty injury, and we haven't seen him back yet. He's not on the injury report. I don't know what that means. Yeah, he's not on the injury report. So that we can leave it at that. That's enough to said for. Next is St. Louis.
Teal turf.
Teal turf would be awesome. Teal turf would be great.
But besides that, I think just to have Paulo have a speedy recovery.
Yeah, that's fair. I heard a rumor that Rafa may not be coming this year. They just signed another goalkeeper from the Brew City Legends.
Yep.
But Teal. Let's go with Teal turf.
Okay.
They're kind of killing it in a lot of ways, and they're my kind of pleasant surprise team this year because I think we were all expecting with Everton leaving, with some key players kind of leaving, and going down that route. I think we were not expecting much, and I think they're pleasantly surprised. Although tonight's game may not have. So there's that.
Don't spoil it or anything.
No, somebody did in the chat already. That's okay. Kansas City.
For the guys to be nice to us when we don't pick them.
Yeah, what's up with that? You just come
on
here
and
start bashing us and
Jeez.
Can't say that.
That's not nice.
Kansas City to lose 5 games to the Wave but still make the playoffs and still let the Wave make the playoffs. That's too much to ask for.
Yeah. That's fine. It's fine. For Kansas City. For Rian Marquez to decide he doesn't like playing on that blue turf and he can move to another team that has nicer blue turf
Or black turf.
or blue.
Maybe he's colorblind and doesn't know the difference.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. But no, I mean this team is stacked. I really have. One thing I would like to see is Stefan Stokic become head coach.
Yeah, you were talking about that last season. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in the playoffs, that guy was just passion, just seeping out, and it was just getting those fans into it. I think a packed arena would have like blown the roof off of Cable Dahmer Arena. But yeah, I think Stefan Stokic becoming head coach would be a win-win for this team. But I like my other one that the guys need to be nicer to us when we don't pick them.
Yeah.
Which won't happen very often.
Right. Yeah, right. Good point.
Yeah, if you come back next week, we'll probably pick you.
Maybe. It depends on who you're playing.
Yeah.
Let me look one. So I would like to see at least 10,000 people in the T-Mobile Center on January 26th. Preferably 15,000 plus. Sell it out. I think it seats 18,000, but
Yep.
I will. I think 10,000 will be a really good mark. Really looking forward to watching that.
That's the next night, right? That's the 22nd, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Maybe I'll hold off. Maybe I'll leave Sunday instead of Saturday.
Your game is at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have a game against Ontario on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Watch it later.
No, I gotta be there.
Well, you just have to use an early flight and take an Uber instead of having me drive you. What?
I mean, I could fly into Syracuse and then drive right to the game. Possible.
Think about it.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, we'll definitely be watching that.
Yeah, I'd like to watch it.
It's going to be a good night of games.
Yep.
All right. And the last two Dallas sidekicks.
I mean, where do we begin? I mean, I say this every single time. I think Dallas has potential, but I think they need a more solid goalkeeper.
Agreed. Juan Gamboa is a great person. I've heard he's really nice. I had a little chat with him when their issue happened and we did the little fundraiser thing. I think he's a great person. I think he would be better off as a backup and a goalkeeper coach than he would their starting keeper. So yeah,
yep, I think that would definitely, going forward. I mean, you're not going to see a lot of wins out of Dallas, but to make games more interesting, I think a more solid keeper is what's needed.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that. I think they have the pieces. It's just a matter of putting it all together.
Putting them together.
I kind of heard a lot of these players who are coming. So to me, it didn't make any sense. I think all these players that they just brought back are excellent players.
They're former teammates of Ricardinho because he played for the Sidekicks.
I think they're all tremendous players in their own. I think they would work together as well. It didn't make any sense to me why they would come back or why they would want to bring those back, because it's like, how many times do we have to do the same thing before you realize it doesn't work? But I think without Bozas as coach, they may be more into it and have their hearts more into it and want to play more.
Right.
So I'm expecting. I think everyone's expecting more out of them because they're to the point now where it's like, okay, how long are we gonna talk about the name, the Dallas Sidekicks, and have it still mean something versus what it's meant the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
All right. I think that covers everything we wanted to cover tonight.
Yeah, we both have long days ahead of us tomorrow.
We do. We first time in my life I'm sitting in the handicap section because Tara won't be able to fit in like have her foot in her knee scooter in a regular seat and everything. So we're gonna be up in those little like sections that are like overhanging over the seats and everything.
Oh yeah.
Not exactly sure what we're doing for when you're coming into town. We'll still have to figure that out.
Oh.
We
Yeah,
may
we'll figure it out.
put her up there alone and sitting right. Probably not.
Or just put me up in the rafters. That's fine.
The rafters. You can go up on top of the scoreboard and get all the soccer balls that Mark Saxby kicked up there a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Or maybe they'll allow me to sit on the bench. No, they won't allow me to sit on the bench as an assistant. No, they won't let me.
No, I think I know. James asks, will the T-Mobile game be on Facebook or YouTube? As far as I know, everything's going to be on YouTube this season.
I would imagine YouTube, yeah.
It's we kind of heard that until the overall quality is increased, they're going to hold off on a bigger TV deal. But for now, I think it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be any more Facebook pay-per-view. I think that was just the thing that they did to offset the cost, and they chose Facebook as a platform because it was almost like a beta test. They were one of the first things to do the Facebook Live, and they got like 100% of the proceeds from those games and the pay-per-view fees. So I think without that and without the need to, with fans being back in the stands, without the need to do that, I think that's not an issue.
Yep.
Speaking of which, there was a thing on Baltimore Towson Arena announced for their sports events for Towson. It's going to be 50% capacity and no concessions. I don't know if that applies to Blast games too. I would assume it would, but
yeah, I would imagine it would.
Yeah, they didn't say specifically, and I think that's through the end of January.
Wow.
We'll find out on Saturday the 8th. We'll talk about that game next week.
Yeah.
All right. Wave fans, we will see you tomorrow afternoon. We're meeting behind section 208 at halftime. We'll be in section... We won't be very mobile pregame, but stop by and say hi to us. We're in section 226 in the little handicap thing, platform, whatever you want to call it. We'll be there. I guess that's about it.
Utica fans, you'll be seeing me January 16th against Baltimore.
Oh, in Baltimore?
No.
Oh.
No, we only have 2 home games in January.
Oh, okay. I thought you had one on the 2nd, but that was in Florida. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
We would have seen each other last Sunday, but.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 16th and the 23rd.
Jack says 50% capacity is about the going rate in Baltimore, so they're fine. I wasn't gonna make that joke. I was just gonna leave that out there.
Is it 50% of like how many fans they have now? Yeah, 50% of the fans they have now.
I think their capacity is like 3,800, and they've only had their first game was decent. Their second game was like 24.
Well, it could be worse. Florida could have 50%.
Right.
Capacity. But what's 50% of 0?
You'd be playing in front of hundreds of fans.
Tens of fans.
Tens of hundreds of fans.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's still a lot. Tens of hundreds is actually a lot. Looking up something to.
Does Willie B have any parting words?
Yeah, does Willie B have any parting words? Gotta wait like 30 seconds for.
I told him I'd razz him tonight.
I think some razzing is good. I want to thank all the KC players who showed up in the chat. You guys are awesome. Looking forward to the game tomorrow.
I will be messaging some of you wanting an explanation for why you felt the need to come into my chat and raise holy heck.
It just were they all there? I want to know if they were all there or if Rian got.
I can't
everyone.
wait. I can't wait to go back and watch the live chat
Yeah.
just to see like what you see, because like you guys know, I cannot see the chat, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're trying. So hey, let's try something quick. I have this thing. What does this look like? Okay, don't ignore the monkey there. Ignore the monkey. Wait, pop out. All right. Hang on. This might work. There's a good possibility that this might work. There we go. How much of that can you see?
I can't see a flipping thing.
I mean, you can see it's there, right?
It's there. Yes, it's over there.
Yeah.
I can't read any of that.
Go back.
But it's there. Oh no! I kind of sort of saw Jack wrote something, but that was about it.
Well, you're not gonna be able to see that for sure.
Oh yeah, I can see that clear as day. Oh, is that Brighton FC? What does that say?
Oh! Willie B's parting words. Adam, big fan. Hubes, tell Hannah I'm a big fan.
Can you make me an admin on In the Box?
Aren't you already?
No.
Really?
No, I'm not even like, because I would have banned that like right away.
It was it was on YouTube though.
Adam, big fan. Hannah. That's not nice. After the nice things I have said to him over.
You're an admin. You're an admin in the box. Just not on the YouTube page, I don't think. I don't know.
No, that's what I meant, on the YouTube page.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, so there's the YouTube chat thing. We can mess around with that at some future dates. But there it is. You need a bigger screen. Can you connect your phone to your TV? Try like some weird Apple cable thing?
I don't know. I have no idea at this point.
All right.
So
I have a joke that fits right into the theme here on In the Box.
all right, fantastic. So before he goes into this joke, thank you everyone for watching. Happy New Year. Be safe, be responsible.
Yes.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Don't do most of the things he would do.
What would Willie B do? WWWBD.
Matt's a recurring guest. He just keeps logging on every Thursday.
Giggity.
It is true, yeah.
So, did you hear the one about the kleptomaniac baker?
Well, once you say it right, no, I haven't.
I hear it takes the cake.
Ooh, you ended with